This is Hannibal and my amazing dog Piper here from the HannibalTV.com with a daily wrestling news update for you. On this Saturday evening, AEW, by the way, they have beaten WWE's SummerSlam 92 record for Wembley Stadium. Their all-out pay-per-view is almost at 80,000 tickets sold, and the Wembley one for WWE, they alleged it was 82, but it's actually 79 something. RVD, Rob Van Dam, wrestled on Dynamite this past week. Very good match against Jack Perry. I watched it. And apparently Tony Khan really liked the match, and they have had talks about him coming back. However, RVD says he's not going to disclose the results of those talks just yet. Rey Mysterio Jr., who's got to be getting up there in age. I'm not exactly sure how old he is, in his 50s, I assume. Won the U.S. title last night on SmackDown in Calgary before over 10,200 fans. Really good crowd in Calgary, my old stomping grounds. As far as the poll I had put up about AEW, what's it going to take to actually sell out the new Wembley Stadium, which I think is less than 10,000 more to sell out. So I agree with the fifth option, which won, but just barely won at 33%. They are going to sell out no matter what. Second place was Goldberg, 30%, which I would love to see. I would watch it if Goldberg was on it. Third place was Hulk Hogan. Fourth place, AJ Lee. Fifth place, Ronda Rousey with a dismal 6%. So looks like Goldberg and Hogan are the people you guys would love to see. If anyone ever read Hogan's book, he claimed that he wrestled in SummerSlam 92 in his very first book and was responsible for the sellout, which you guys could go look. It was Ultimate Warrior against Randy Savage, Bret Hart against the British Bulldog. Speaking of Hogan, I saw him on a podcast today talking about Ric Flair with a podcast host, and I'm sorry, it's a guy with a mullet, comedian. I forget his name. It's Piper's growling down there or something. But this guy said that Ric Flair is still a partier, and Hulk Hogan said he's never seen Ric Flair drink water. He only sees him drink alcohol. He alleged that he woke up. When he wakes up, he drinks alcohol. And he alleged that when Ric Flair was in the hospital, which I forget what year it was, maybe around 2017, 2018, and almost died. 2017 it was, actually. I remember that. It was just around the time I interviewed Rocky Johnson, who didn't like Ric Flair for whatever reason. But Hogan said when he went to see Rick at the hospital, Rick asked for if Hogan could get him a six-pack. I don't know if I believe that. But Hogan says he hasn't drank for 6 months. Hogan also in this said he would have 3 beers and some Tylenol before he would wrestle. Then he would have 12 beers after he wrestled. Hogan in AEW, I mean, I would like to see that. I really don't care. I have nothing bad to say about Hulk Hogan. He could tell these stories. They're funny. And we know that I will admit I'm impressed that Ric Flair is alive. The amount he's drank, because Rick has self-admitted he's drank, and Charlotte said it in her interview with Steve Austin back when I still had the WWE Network. I watched her Broken Skull session, and she said after Charlotte's brother Reed Flair died, Rick actually did go to rehab for a bit. And she said that was the first time that ever went public. It was kept quiet. Oh, yeah, Hogan also said that Flair always sneaks out before having to pay the tab. That's I like them both. I like both Hogan and Flair. Big Timers Club. Honestly, I've partied enough in my lifetime. I really don't want to party anymore. And honestly, the partying with Marty, I'll party, but not the kind of party that Marty. I think he's stopped too, but no. Once people get older, they. Ric Flair's blessed. He can continue doing it, and he's in. I believe he's in his 70s. Hulk Hogan just turned 70. But that stuff is going to catch up to you. He would kill the party with Marty and Flair. Actually, the first interview I did with Marty, he had just come in from partying at some chicken festival in Poughkeepsie, New York. I actually did that interview in Poughkeepsie, New York. I didn't go to the chicken festival or wing festival, but he had been partying that night. I didn't party that night. Ric Flair, yeah, okay. I guess you'd have to party with Ric Flair. But he is getting pretty old. He is definitely getting pretty old. Anyways, guys, what is this? I don't know what I put this up for. Oh yeah, I was gonna put this up the other day. The Rock buying this guy a house. You know what? The Rock got so much publicity off from buying this UFC fighter house, which obviously UFC doesn't pay very much, but whatever he paid for that house for that UFC fighter, it was all over the news for a couple of days. So The Rock had some bad publicity recently over what's it called? The Young Rock getting canceled and the Black Adams or Pat. I don't even know. I'm not a superhero fan. Not Pat. I almost said Patch Adams, but Black Adam. So I think that. I mean, this is cool that he's buying this UFC fighter who supposedly had $7 to his name. Apparently, UFC pays as low as $7,500 a fight, and you got to train off of that and pay management and so forth. And you can't fight every week like you do in wrestling. But I just think that's a great thing, but it definitely got people to stop talking negative about The Rock. And I am a big Rock fan. I saw a bunch of movies just because I was a fan of The Rock, not because I necessarily wanted to see the movies. Has Marty ever wrestled in Great North Wrestling? I don't believe he's allowed in Canada. I did read in the Observer an old one, which I haven't done an archive update for a while, from some of these classic stories that are interesting. But I don't think Marty's allowed in Canada due to some issues he's had over the years. But what was I going to do about? Oh yeah, the last one I did was on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It went out of business after, which I read in the Observer, after Rick Rubin pulled out of funding it, and then they couldn't. It was only a matter of months before it went out of business, and I guess a bunch of people hadn't been paid. But I mean, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Jim Cornette was on WWE TV at the time. They had stuff in WWE Magazine. They used like The Undertaker and Macho Man, I believe. Several other WWE guys had the Heavenly Bodies crossing over. You can't get much. The only other company I think that had that much help was ECW, and they still went out of business. Hulkamania will never die. Nope. Anyways, I wish everybody a great weekend. I did post the Canadian title match between Jeremy Prophet and the Magnum. Jeremy Prophet had held the Canadian title since defeating Wes Briscoe in October 2019. So the Magnum, at 17 years old, ended Jeremy Prophet's Canadian title streak. But a guy that held the Canadian title before Jeremy Prophet was Rene Dupree. And Rene Dupree, two-time WWE Tag Team champion, former Canadian champion, is going to face the Magnum when Great North Wrestling comes to Renfrew Saturday, November 4th. So that's going to be a very tough challenge for the Magnum. he's definitely going to need his henchman, Jack Kilby, and this 7-foot bodyguard. But there's going to be a lot of great matches on this event, a lot of great talent. The last Great North Wrestling event of 2023.